Welcome to The Funnel. My name is John Shea, and I'm president of Alignment Group. This is episode number 245 of The Funnel, Favoritism, the Sales Management Double-Edged Sword. Before we begin, I want to invite you to subscribe to The Funnel. Head on over to alignment-group.com/The Funnel, and we will send you the show notes weekly. That comes out every Thursday. And every new subscriber gets a free coaching call. The link is in the landing page after you subscribe. It's right there. Just click on it and schedule your time. Today's agenda, the risks. Get over it. It's about your career. So let's talk about the risks. There is a price to pay for having a favorite. It's frustrating for some of your salespeople. They might feel under-recognized or not supported because someone else is getting all of that attention. So I'm going to tell you, we all like people for who they are. And there's some people we like more than others. And that goes for every manager or salesperson or sales manager in the world. Every boss has favorite people on their team, and they're lying if they tell you any differently. Some of us who have kids, some of their kids think they're the favorite. I tell mine, I dislike all of you equally. What I mean by that is I don't have a favorite. I like them for different things. They have different personalities, and I appreciate who they are as a person. But I don't play favorites. The rules are the rules, and everybody needs to follow them regardless. Now, what one person needs versus another in terms of coaching, development, and training is a different story. So we need to be careful of that. It's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to training or support or help. However, favoritism comes with huge risks. Like I said, there's a price to be paid. There's resentment. You begin to lose objectivity. You lose the ability to look at somebody in a different way. And what I mean by that is if they screw up, they might get away with it because you're not objective anymore, because they are your favorite. And the same goes with you. If you're a manager and you're the favorite of the VP, or you're one of the VPs and you're the favorite of the owner or somebody, the president or whoever's above you, that resentment begins to build up, and there's a price to be paid with you as well. And your boss loses objectivity and you lose objectivity. And what if your boss leaves? Then it ends in a very ugly way, because the new boss may not feel the same way about you. Now where are you? Projects sometimes tend to get dumped in your lap because all of a sudden you're the favorite and you can have things dumped in your lap. Or you begin to dump things into one of your favorite sales reps' laps because they're the person who's most valuable to you. They can get things done. And we're all guilty of that. We try not to do it, but we're guilty of it. And you have to work really hard to try to play the middle of the road. And if you're the favorite or you're playing favorite, you're either using somebody or they're using you. You don't want to be in that position where your teammates resent you. You don't want to put your sales rep in a place where they're resented. Right? So I'm giving you both sides of the story. You as the favorite and the sales rep as your favorite. It's not a good thing. You know, there's a famous story of coaches, one coach in particular in Dallas football, dumping a player because one of his other players did something stupid. And he was a good player and he couldn't dump him. I don't know. I just don't like that. Maybe it worked for him for a short period of time, but they've got a window of success and then they lose their job, right? In the management world, it's a lot different. You got to live with these people day and night for an extended period of time. Do you want to be known as the teacher's pet? Do you want your rep to be known as the teacher's pet? How can you think independently when you're looking at them, and how can they think independently? All of a sudden now you're in that group think world. And over time, it happens. It ends ugly. And you lose your specialty. You're no longer special because maybe somebody else special came along. Or maybe somebody else special came along on your team and you do that to somebody. It's not good. Let's talk about getting over it. How about you get over it? Okay, so here's what happens in your role as a manager, and then I'll talk about the sales rep's role. You have this special relationship with the owner of your company. You're one of the managers or a VP and with the president of the company or whatever it is. They're above you in the food chain and you have peers. The expectation is that they tell you everything, right? And then your job would be to share that with other folks. Don't be a leaker. Don't share those things because it makes you feel better because you're the one in the know. And you need to know it. Everybody needs to know that you're in the know, so you're going to share that. Don't do that. And don't be surprised if you play favorites with one of your reps and they do that. Don't tell anybody, but this, so-and-so is going to get fired tomorrow. And then they go out and say, hey, listen, guess who's getting fired tomorrow? Don't be the leaker and don't provide that information to a favorite that can cause you trouble or pain. And I think I told this story before that I had a guy who came on through a buyout about my age. I think we are the same age. Same place in life, same number of kids, same, we had a lot of the same things we liked. And we had this personal and business relationship. In the personal relationship, we talked about our families, we talked about football, we talked about just school, just life stuff, nothing heavy, but more like to see that game over the weekend, blah, blah, blah. And we'd have lunch occasionally in those conversations we would have. There were people that thought he was a leaker, that I told him everything and was mad at him for not leaking information. Now, it puts him in a difficult situation. But finally, they got it. Because as these people started developing relationships with me, they learned something. If I had a nice relationship with you and I could ask you about your kids or your husband or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is, and we could have nice conversations about a football game or whatever, it doesn't mean you're a favorite, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to spend my time telling you business stuff. It was a shock to people that I didn't do that. It was a shock because I just didn't do that. I didn't want to be a leaker. It also affects your ability up the food chain to develop relationship with other people at senior level positions. So what do I mean by that? If I'm a VP of sales and there's multiple senior level executives above me and I have one that I'm close to, that I'm a favorite, and I'm a leaker, how much of a relationship am I going to have with these other folks? Not much. And what is that going to do for me? Nothing. Because what if that person leaves? They're going to look at me and go, well, he was a bit of a lapdog. John was a bit of a lapdog for so-and-so. You want to be in a position where you learn from other people, where you're being developed in all phases. So you should be able to develop relationships with multiple executives, be objective, and learn from them. Some good, some bad. Maybe they aren't very good at their job, and maybe they aren't very nice people. Good, you can learn from that. But if you have a favorite and that's all you deal with, and you're the quote-unquote leaker, people know. And again, from a rep's perspective, if you're playing a favorite with one of your reps, that prevents them from talking to other men. I never really was upset with my reps talking to other managers. I could care less. If they could get help from so-and-so, I was all for it. Go see this person because I think they might be able to help you with this problem. They're really good at that. Never bothered me in the least. Other managers, it would bother them. Me, I think it helps the rep learn and get better at their job, and that's what I'm there for. So I don't leak information. I don't provide that to somebody. And you shouldn't either. It's a dangerous game. And it's exhausting. As a manager, it's exhausting. I wouldn't do it. It's about your career. So what do I mean by that? If you have that kind of favorite relationship above you in the food chain, they own your career. That's it, that person. They leave, something happens to them, you're swept up in that. Let's say they get fired for something. Wow, you were their number one person. Gone. How many times have you said as managers to sales reps, you can't have a single person that you know in a prospect's office. If you have a single point of contact and they're gone, the new person that comes in generally wants to flex their muscles, and one of the easy ways to flex their muscles is to change vendors. It presents the least amount of risk to them. So if you're giving that advice to your reps, wouldn't you take that advice yourself? Having only one relationship above you in a way, in that kind of way? And do people think you really earned it, or is it just because you were a brown nose and because you were a favorite? And vice versa. As you're dealing with your reps and you have one person that you're really relying on for everything and they're your favorite, people start thinking, did they really earn what they've accomplished? Oh, they get all the best leads. They get all the best customers. My friend was mad because he's the number one rep in the branch. I don't know, for 15 years running. He's killing it this year. And a senior level guy retired, and there was all these big accounts. And he didn't get a lot of the big accounts. He's like, I'm the number one guy. I should get them all. He's my friend. Talking about the manager. And the manager's like, look, I have to be equitable with this. You're highly successful. I have some people that have earned the right for additional accounts. And I'm going to give you some too. I can't give it all to you. First of all, great management move. Why would you put all your eggs in one basket? 2, he's telling him, I don't play favorites here. I'm doing the right thing. A lesson learned. My buddy wasn't happy. Tough luck. I kind of agreed. I didn't really get into that argument with him. I tried to explain it to him. He didn't want to hear it. And most reps don't, and that's okay. He's got a pretty good situation. He's making a lot of money. He's highly successful. He gets the support of his manager. He gets the support of the team. He has some really good accounts. And yes, a lot of them he developed because he's been there a long time. And he was given some of those accounts, but he's not going to be given all of them. You want to be a whole person with your career and others. By playing favorites, you're not doing them a service. And by being a favorite, you're not doing yourself a service. You really need to be able to reach out to people and expand your horizons, open your mind up, instead of staying in that little echo chamber and that group think. And never, 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 never underestimate your weight. What do I mean by that? If you're a favorite, a lot of times favorites think that they have all this clout and all this ability because they're privy to confidential information. Generally, when a boss is doing that with you, it's to their advantage, not to yours. And it's up to a point. So they're not going to risk themselves for you. They're not going to allow you to push something around if it doesn't fit their need. So don't overestimate how much power you really do have and influence you do have. And vice versa. Your sales rep might just think they have a lot of power with you because you're doing that and get themselves in trouble. So I just really want you to keep that stuff in mind when you're thinking about being a favorite or having a favorite. You need to protect yourself by not being one. I don't think it's a good thing anywhere. And if that's how your company operates, you should probably move on. It's risky to be too close. You need to be somewhere in the middle. And with my guy I had pizza with, and we talked football and family and fun stuff, we were in the middle. We didn't hang out on weekends. We didn't go to ball games together. We didn't have family picnics together. It was in the middle. And that's the way it should have been. Sometimes leaders are paranoid and they don't want their reps talking to other people. If that's what you have a problem on your hands. And if you are paranoid, get over it. And if you're paranoid because you're in a toxic information, get out of it. It's a lot said in this short, I consider a short podcast because we're a little over 15 minutes. Hopefully this helps. I'd like some feedback on this topic, more so than others, because it's definitely that's something that's pervasive in the sales world or in the business world. And I want to know how you handle it individually. So let me know. Subscribe to The Funnel, alignmentgroup.com/The Funnel. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Contact me, jshay at alignment-group.com. Website, alignment-group.com. And as always, thank you for subscribing and keep filling the funnel.